mid-month. This is amazing. I'm so glad to see all of you here. You guys are rocking it. So let's see. Before we get started, where everybody's piling in, I love it. The numbers just running up. Put in the chat. Let's see where you're from, but more importantly, put something in there. Either happy is happening well in your business this week. Let's hear some victories in there. And yeah, in the meantime, who would love to come off and share something that's going well this week after all of this great training? We're halfway through the 6 weeks. Anybody want to pop off? I know there's a lot of good stuff going on. You guys, the numbers are great. The energy is great. Everybody is in such great action. So who wants to pop off? Anybody? I think, Abby Cook, are you out there? We were talking to Julie. There you go. Julie had some things to share. Come off, Julie, and share some things that are going well.
Okay, there. I had to figure out how to unmute myself. Some things that are going well is I've definitely listened to the trainings every week, and I can tell that it's changing my mindset, which is obviously like a big one. So just listening and taking it in and not caring so much about the outcome is a big one for me. Just reaching out and being a little more bold in that and truly just not attaching myself to the outcome, because that's like a big one mindset for me. I've always had a little bit of a struggle in that area, not to use that word, but just kind of like being like, whatever, this is fine. If the people that are wanting you are going to want you. So, and just being that, and that's the biggest shift for me, I think. And that's been feeling really good.
That's a big shift, Julie. That's a big one for a lot of us. How many of you, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever been in your own way in your mind, right? How many of us are like, oh my gosh, get out of my head self. So thanks, Julie. And it is in your action and in your momentum. I know that to be true. All right, we got time for one more. Who else would love to share?
I will.
Oh, good. Abby, go for it.
Hi, everybody. So I was telling Kelly today, I'm like, I am feeling so bold. And so I'm right with you, Julie. It's like this metamorphosis is happening. And I was like, what is going on? Why am I feeling this? And I've narrowed it down. I think there's 3 things. First of all, we become bold because we have our own successes and we become confident in that success. For this time in our lives, we're doing it. I'm doing it this time, guys. And I feel confident to pass that along. Also because of my clients' success. I have I have clients that are having so many victories right now. And when we have that, we feel bold and we feel, like we can share that and we have something to stand on. Also because of the systems, the trainings. It's hard to believe that some of us need to be taught how to be human. But, when we actually stop being, as Lindsay said the other day, stop being interesting and be interested, my life changes, other people's lives change. And when we empower them and enrich them, it feels good. And that's how to be a human. And so beyond just feeling good and bold in the business, I feel good and bold in my life. And so, when both of those things mesh, it's all good. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Abby. Are you kidding? I think that's going to be my takeaway for at least one of them tonight. Learn how to just be human. How about that? Because our minds can get crazy. Oh, thank you guys so much. And anything else you've got going, put it in the chat. This is where we get to encourage each other about what's going well. And those of us that are having stumbles along the way, we're going to be inspired to keep going. So tonight, like I said, we are 3 weeks into this 6 weeks. And, Thursdays are about systems and making sure we're locking down. And we've started with, setting up well. Last week we went over, health assessments and the map and how to really dive in. And this week we're going to do mid-month. Happy mid-month, everybody. So I'm going to get started here with just some things to share. And it's really going to be a lot of fun tonight. We got a lot of good stuff. So hit this full screen so you don't have to see all of this stuff we got going. But we are here tonight to go over mid-month. And plan on Saturdays. This is what we get to do, and also about what our clients can really learn to expect out of us for their first week. Health assessment in a nutshell, about listening and clients are going to look for, in their first week of coaching, because it's very important that they know what to expect. You're going to hear Lindsay talk about this because she does as well. Her and Brad are going to walk through that with us. And then we're going to really learn about what that first week really can be for our clients, leading up to more sponsoring, because that's how we're going to help the rest of the world get help, right? Sponsoring more. So remember, the goals of these 6 weeks are your goals based on where you are in your journey of business and working towards the next goal and setting those standards. Now we're mid-month. You look at that, strategic plan of yours and where you were and where you want to be. And now don't adjust the goals, adjust the action and into your business and mentorship for them, because they know how to help you get there. Okay. So remember, we're going pro here. We're going to reach those goals. And this is what we're looking to do, and do it in community. That's why we're here. We're family. So this is where we dig in, hold each other up, and help each other through these next few weeks. So remember, now we're here at starting clients. So health assessment, pro status, starting clients. And now we're going to just get into it for tonight, because why wait for our special person that's going to share a little bit about what to do on mid-month. Put in the chat. Put it too, if you know what to do in mid-month, and those would be, or put in the chat what you do for mid-month, because there are a couple of steps that we all, when we're really wanting to achieve our goals, do at our mid-month check-ins. So I don't know, I have a feeling there's a lot of good stuff in there, and they're all right. Lean into your mentors, know where your numbers are, and align with the goals. So with this, we're going to just jump right on to staying consistent, staying connected, as we were talking about, and know, like Abby and Julie said, this is about finding your way there. It's not a direct line, but staying consistent and staying connected is going to be how you get to where you want to get to, and how you're going to help the people that you're bringing along with you get to where they want to be, both in your healthy journeys for your clients and in your business team. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Dawn Chow. We all know and love her so much. And she's going to just go over exactly what we need to do for these next couple of days, if you haven't already done it, for your checking the pulse of your business for mid-month. So Dawn, you out there? Are you with us?
I sure am. Super excited, you guys. It is officially the 16th. And I tell you what, I don't know if those of you are business coaches out there, your messengers started blowing up about the 14th with all the people sending their maps over. Hey, would love to catch up. This is where I'm at. This is what my goal is. So what our goal is during this 6 weeks is to show you the real things that make the difference. So I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to get started. And for those of you who are doing the do, you know this, and this is not going to be new for you, but it's something that we do every month. We talked in the beginning of the month about setting the month up, and one of the most vital parts of a growing business and the people that are doing the do and blowing up my messenger, and honestly blowing up the connect, because I see them starting clients and we're celebrating them, is that they do this. They stop. They catch their breath mid-month, and they take a pulse check. I'm a nurse, so I'm like, checking the pulse, very important, because without this, you don't really know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're at and where you're going, guess what? You might not end up where you want to be towards the end of the month. You might not help as many people as you want to help. And you also might have your team not helping as many people as they want to help. So these are the things that make the difference for real, guys. So listen up. Even if you're a brand new coach and you're not quite sure what to do, I'm gonna walk you through it. If you have been a coach for a long time and you're coaching coaches, listen up, because you're gonna be helping your team do these things. So grab your map. Go ahead, grab it right now. Show it in the chat. Show it in front of the screen. Who's got their map? Grab it right now. Where are you tracking for your goals? So the most important things are up here at the top. Where are your goals? And there's supposed to be a little blue circle. I can't figure out how to get that to work. But anyways, there's supposed to be a blue circle at the very top, right around your goals, guys. So I don't know if you can see me, but up in the upper left-hand corner are your goals. Are you tracking for those? Where are you at? It's mid-month. So if your goal was to bring on 6 new clients, have you brought on 3? Maybe you've brought on 5. Maybe we need to up our goals. Maybe we need to up our actions so that we can reach our goals. But are you tracking for the goals that you wrote down and you committed to at the beginning of the month? So what's your frontline volume as of today? Put a 1 in the chat if you know what your frontline volume is today. and you messaged your map over to your mentor. And you told them what your frontline volume is, what your group volume is, and where you want to be at the end of the month. Look at that. The map, the chat's blowing up. I love it. Because you guys who are doing this, you're seeing how amazing it is. And the fruit of that is that you help more people. So what's your frontline volume? What's your group volume? And if you're brand new, you might not quite understand what group volume is, and because you may not have coaches on your team, so that's just your frontline volume, but it's yours plus your coaches. And then how many new clients have you helped? How many new coaches have you helped? I love it. Someone found out how to draw on the screen. All right, so, oh, there's my blue circle. I love it. There you go. So that's where to look at first, is what are your goals? And then, I bet my other circle is going to come. And there it is. The next things to look at are, how are your clients doing? How are their orders tracking? Have you logged in and checked your premieres that are set to process? I highlight mine as they process because that helps me help my clients better. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that right now, but it totally helps me know where they're at, that they're on track, they have enough, I know what program they're on. So highlight that. And then also, how's your action? Are you tracking your action? See all those little boxes? And Valentine knocked it out of the park on Saturday. The last 30 minutes of that call was like, just the whole thing blew me away, but the last 30, holy smokes. That's the code. Are you doing the 3, 3, and 3? And then you get to adjust it, because if you've helped 5 clients and your goal is to help 6, then it's probably time to up your goals. And if you have 1 client this month and your goal is to help 6, it's probably time to up your action, right? You see how we like elevate instead of like adjusting our goals down. We're like, where am I at? What do I want? And then for those of you who have coaches, yes, how's your team doing on this? Have they sent you their map? Have you reached out to see if they send it over and connect on a time? So those are the things to kind of look at on your actual map. Here's the gold standard. You have it as a rock in your schedule. Have you already sent your map and your goals and where you're at, your pulse check over to your mentorship team? If you haven't, don't worry. It's any time between the 15th and the 18th. You have plenty of time. Take time to do it tonight. Wake up a little early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's follow-up Friday, guys. Carve out just a little bit of time. Put the oxygen mask on you first. Send it over to your mentorship team with your goals, where you're progressing, what your frontline volume is. Check your premier orders. How many have rewards? Multiply that by 300. That's how you get your projected frontline. And how many clients and coaches have you personally started? And how about your team? How are they tracking? So you're going to assess your current action, and that's going to help you figure out, or where you currently are. That's going to help you learn whether you're going to increase your action or you're going to increase your goals. And then here's the question. When do you meet with your mentorship? I'd always err on the side of meeting with your mentorship. I just got off an amazing meeting today. Going to give a shout out to Miss Amber Spencer, because she rocked it. She sent over her map. She said where she was. You know what? She hadn't started as many clients as she wanted. She's rocking and rolling with some new coaches. Hadn't started as many clients, but she knew why. She knew her action was solid, and she has lots of seeds in the ground, health assessments scheduled. She knows she's going to hit her goal, and she knew exactly what to expect. That's awesome. So if you are a new ED or you're running for ED, definitely grab time with your mentorship in the next couple of days. If it's if you're running for something big this month and it's your first time, definitely grab time with your mentorship. I always err on the side of reach out, ping them, always send your map over, but they'll tell you if you're good. They'll tell you if you don't need to meet. So if you haven't done it yet, do it today or tomorrow. Just take the time. It for real will change your business. Like I started doing this with Brad a few years ago, and then we started really doing it with our team, and things exploded. I mean, we're going to hit goals that we honestly, a couple of years ago, I thought maybe weren't even possible. So if you are, if you haven't, set a time and do it. The second thing is stay connected with your support team. Daily, if you're running for ED or your next big goal, send your picture over in your support thread right now or first thing in the morning if you haven't, and include your frontline volume and where you want to be, and then grab a time to meet. Adjust your action, and then, have fun, and don't be weird. Just a quote Al from last week. That's it, guys. If you do that, it will change your business. I'm going to kick it back over. Actually, I'm kicking it to Brad now. because he and Lindsay are going to break down the health assessment and really go into some detail. We talked about it last week. So Brad and Lindsay, you guys there?
There we go. I figured out how to unmute myself. All right, Dawn, great stuff. First of all, while I'm getting this set up, I've got to just say congrats to everyone. You guys are on fire. I feel like I'm talking to 135 plus like pros. Like we're all talking together. I'm loving the chat. I love like the going pro. And I don't know about you guys, but like going back to the basics always is like gets my fire going. Like I've recommitted to the basics like at a high level. I love Danae talked about that in our first week. And it just seems like when you do that, that's when the fire comes back. So today we're building on top of what Allison broke down last week, which was going pro with the health assessment. So for all you new coaches, pay attention to the details because these are the things that will make the difference and just help you have great conversations. You know, the number one are the top things that people were voting on was how do I awaken coaches? How do I integrate clients? And we want to have that experience with people. And I actually am going to go through some of the basics because we started training this a year ago, and that's when our business started to soar. This is the main point. Yes, 3, 3, and 3 will change your business. Yes, it will up your support. Yes, doing the mid-month checks. Everything we cover in here is for real, the things, the basics that the pros do. So I just want to, again, congratulate you guys for investing in becoming pro in what you're doing. It's fun to be a pro. It's fun to see the numbers going up. The energy of your client, like DJ, thanks for tagging me that post today, by the way, DJ, because I see on my screen right now, made my day. The fire is palpable. So I wanted to cover some things today. So take some notes on this. We're going to move into how to do it, like some of the key things to do on a health assessments that will be a game changer. And then we're going to move into supporting your client the first week. Because like we talked about, the difference maker happens way before you ever talk to your clients the first time, 100%. And those, like, can I get a 2 in the chat if you guys know what I'm talking about and if you put that into action? Like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about on that. I'm going to bring on Lindsay to kind of be like my go back and forth in person on this. She's going to break down how to support clients during the first week, but I'm going to interview her as I go through these basics and as I mute you, Michelle. I got your back, Michelle. Don't worry. I see you ruffling around in the car. And to kind of be a bounce off for me on this, because about a year ago, Lindsay, and I'm gonna have you come on for a second, you went pro in your business. You actually called me on a Saturday and said, I'm ready to stop dinking around on my business before we had the systems as set up as we did. You dove in with Kelly over this last season and your business has continued to grow and you dove into these things. So would you just come, before we can go out, like these are some of the things that you've changed. Would you just kind of share a little bit about your experience and like what changed in your business since like maybe around the beginning of last year?
Yeah, so a lot of things changed, but I love that you said going back to the basics, keeping it really simple because there is no secrets. You know, we're always looking for like, what are they doing to create all this success? And what they're doing is exactly what all of these trainings are. So there's no secrets to success. Success leaves clues, and we are lucky enough to get trained on them weekly. So honestly, it was just me going back to the basics, working with my support team, trusting that they had my best interest, and just honestly doing the work every single day.
All right, bear with me real quick. My PowerPoint just split. But yes, I love what you just covered there as my – we have had all technical difficulties today, by the way, so just everyone know that obstacle is the way. I'm actually running off my hotspot at home because it's so hot here that internet decided to just break in the Northwest, just so everyone knows. So bear with me if this training goes a little bit longer. I think we'll be finishing up on time here. I'm trying to get my PowerPoint restarted. But this actually brings me back to another point, Lindsay, because this is really good what you're covering here. And what I was going to bring up from you on this is I actually looked up your stats. You went from like running like, 10, 12,000 frontline volume last year, but it was grueling. You were exhausted and your business wasn't growing. And we dove into some of these things that we're doing and that we'll kind of cover out here today. And now you run what consistently? What's your volume consistently running?
About 16 to 17,000.
And I ran your numbers, believe it or not, when we talk about a 5-in-1 business every single month, you checked your stats last month. You actually brought on 5 clients and 1 coach in the month before that, which means you take care of your clients really well. There's things that you do that we're going to cover today. So as we go through here today, will you share some of those knowledge pieces that we're covering? And would you speak to that for just 1 second of things that changed from you for last year? Because I know you're not working any more than you were when your business was less than 1/3 of the size last year. Can you speak to that for a second as I get my PowerPoint figured out here?
Yeah, so It's not about working more hours. It was really about just working more efficiently and staying in the systems. Understanding my business was huge. I love that Dawn went over the mid-month check because that was a game changer for my business. I felt like I was just kind of rolling with the business and seeing what would happen, leaving it up to chance. And when I finally sat down and learned my numbers and looked at where I was mid-month, that was a big game changer. And again, going back to the basics, working smarter, not necessarily harder. I run a higher frontline volume, but I wouldn't say I work any more hours than I did before because I was all over the place. So some of the stuff we're going to go over today is keeping it simple, staying in structure, and really helping you to move your business forward in the same amount of time.
Perfect. So with that being said, let's dive into it real quick, even though we moved past the technical difficulties and break this down. So last week, Allison covered, and if you guys didn't watch it, go back and hear her breakdown. I'm going to go into a little bit more of the tangibles. Like, okay, Allison talked about this, but what does that look like? What is like, show me what that looks like. Anyone like me, like drop a 1 in the chat, because everyone, don't drop the 1 yet. You don't know what my question is. But a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just do whatever they say. I'm always the person that asks why. I want to know why I should do it a certain way. So like if you're like me, like I want to know like why or how does that actually take place? Drop me a 1 in the chat if that's the way your mind works, because that's the way my mind works. Okay, cool. I'm like, okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I'm not alone in this stuff. I'm an analytical person. I drove my mom nuts as a kid because I was always like, why? Not because I was a brat, I just wanted to know why. I just wanted to know why that was the case and how does that actually look. So cool, so I'm not alone. So here, let's break this down real quick, and Lindsay, just pop in on the things that you know were massive game changers for you. So number 1, a health assessment share call is invite people. Phone is great. It's the easiest way to meet people. Zoom is awesome too, but it's because you get that face-to-face or in person, but honestly, it's harder to schedule. Like I can't tell you last time I've done an in-person one, and I will just really recommend across the board, don't do them in person. It gets awkward. People don't make the time. They don't know. It's kind of like if you've seen Talladega Nights, they don't know what to do with their hands because they're like, should we talk about other things? I know I want to talk about my health. Just do it quick, easy. People are busy. Like there might be exceptions that prove the rule, but phone is obviously a great one. Zoom works too. 20 to 30 minutes is really all you need to do a quality health assessment. If they have tons of questions, maybe max 45. That means you can fit this into wherever it is in your life that you can. Like you can do it on lunch break or on a break or before work or if you're working full time or while the kids are napping. Like it doesn't take a lot of time to fit in sharing and help with someone. For the first 3 to 5, like we talked about, do them with your support team. And the faster you get to 10 or more, you'll get really good at this for all you new coacher. And I can't stress this enough. This is a conversation, my friends. We're going to go over tonight like the layout of it. But our goal is for you tonight, because I know some of you guys are practicing this, and every time you practice something, like you're never as fluid as you are when you've done it a bunch of times. We're going to go over just like the layout of like what changed for people, like what changed for people for Lindsay when we went over this stuff. And what I would encourage you guys, and what we're going to cover really quick here tonight is spend the time in the front end. You will create long-term clients. You'll be duplicatable. Don't take hours. It shouldn't take hours, but take the time to do it well in the front end and to give context of how this is going to look. A lot of you guys are like, oh, my clients don't answer my phone when I call. I was like, did you ever tell them that you would be calling them each week? You guys, anyone feel what I'm talking about here? Lindsay, I know you're shaking your head. You're like, yeah, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So last thing is I'll say here is be bold. You got the goods. Like, in case you're still wondering, like, is this a good fit? I know it worked for me. Will it work for everyone? Yes, it does. Like people can't get the results. So make sure when you come to this phone, pardon my language, but I'm gonna go backwards in what I did for the last year is be a badass when you're talking to people. They wish, they need what you have. And if you're talking to someone on the phone, they are gonna get help, whether on that call or that. But let me tell you from experience, if they cared enough to get on the phone with you, this program is for them. Just know that as you're getting this going. And then layer full health. Don't just talk about losing weight. You will shortchange your long-term success with your clients, and you will just have a bunch of diet clients. So real quick, Lindsay, before I move on to some of the basics, anything you want to say that was a game changer on this or that you really want to edify or that you know is like, I really want to make sure people capture this?
Yeah, we are not weight loss coaches. It took me a good 2 years to get out of the mentality that we are not weight loss coaches. And when I shifted that in my mindset, I started offering the full trilogy to everybody, body, mind, and finances, and just layering coaching all the time because it was an amazing gift that was changing my life. So that was a huge game changer for me, and it changed my business, and it shows because I stopped being a weight loss coach.
Love it. And then I just answer, again, the goal of these trainings is to really answer your real life questions. So Suzanne, great question. I thought Zoom was the goal. Yes, honestly, I would say if you can naturally, easily, simply get one to someone to Zoom, I would love to see their face. But eventually we will move to that. Sometimes that might be too much for people, so just gauge where they're at and move them to the simplest step of connection possible. Does that sound like what would you say to that, Lindsay, like to that question?
100%. You don't want to overcomplicate getting to the phone. You just want to move people towards doing the health assessment. So if we overcomplicate it, it just sets a bad tone that everything's going to be overcomplicated. So we want to keep it simple. And
that being said, if you got something that's working for you and all the stuff we go over it, just eat the fish, spit out the bones. We're going over the basics of what changes for this. If you do a little bit more of Zoom on your calls, fantastic. Congrats to you for being able to get more people to a Zoom. Like, I love that. More integration. I love it. So let's meet up here because I want to make sure we get done on time. Quick heads up. I was going to get out of the way. Guys, don't think you're special. I'm so, I always crack up, by the way, cool. I'm just going to assume you guys are cool with me being unplugged because, I'm just going to do it anyways. You guys can deal with it if you're not cool with it. Sorry to be bold. But again, you know what? This is going to change your business, and I'm bold enough to say that. We all get the how questions. For all you new coaches that are like, oh, well, this person does it like this. No. It's your concept. We all get the how questions. We all get the stuff. We all get the, is it like this? We all get the, oh my gosh, can you just tell me? You're not special. You are a special person to all of us, like everyone. I value out here, but your situations that you have are not special. Know that we all get the same thing. Does the food taste like this? Can I sample it? How much does it cost? We all get these things. And you truly become a master of this. And if you're not feeling like a master yet, make sure you connect with your support team because it took me a while to become bold in this. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I got to answer the question. No, it's our job to model health. We are the coach from day one before we ever talk. So we all get these questions. Our goal is to connect with them and find out what they want. Lindsay, anything you want to add to this that's really important and vital for you? Do you get how questions ever?
I do. And honestly, I answer it the same way every time I have for the last 4 years. It really is based on what you want to accomplish. I'm actually headed out to go do this now, but I'll call you at this time or this time. Is that cool?
Yep.
I literally just cut it off.
Back to the chat. I want to make sure I'm answering all the questions here. So what if they want to meet in person? I would challenge you that they just probably don't know that it could be a simple phone call. Most people want to meet in person because they don't know it could be a phone call. Does that make sense? Oh, hey, we can meet. I'd love to catch up for coffee. But you know what? We can I usually do health assessments because I can coach my clients from anywhere. Again, because you want to make sure they know that they can coach anyone from anywhere if they're going to become a coach. When do you have a few minutes? I have a time here or here. Again, like Allison went over, making it really easy for someone to say yes to it. Does that make sense? Because I have a bunch of people that are like, oh, everyone wants to meet with me. And it's like, well, no, you haven't learned the skill of moving it to a phone call. And then that same person was like, yeah, we didn't even get to talk about their health. We talked for 2 hours about their dog. So anyway, sorry to be unplugged on this, but that's just really what happens on this stuff. I know some of you guys are like, I don't even have that problem, so let's move forward. So steps for the call. Here's the overall layout. I know some of you guys are really just getting this down. Some of you guys are like, okay, I'm just recommitting to these basics. And it feels on fire. That fire gets lit inside of you when you go back to the basics. But this is what it should look like. Should be welcome and an intro. Everyone loves context to a conversation. You notice how Kelly brought us all into context of this call. It was brilliant. I feel so settled when she brought it in. So welcoming to the call, talking about that, making people feel settled, introing them to the party. Then awaken, ask questions. The first few things should be about them. Most people are used to being sold things. So if we truly just ask questions and listen, and I'm going to say at least 5 or more questions. I'm going to go over this in here in a second. Their walls will come down and you will get great breakthrough and they'll start to open up. And for some of the people that are like, I've never talked to this person before, are they really going to open up? Yeah, honestly, I've talked to people that are referrals will start opening up if you give them the space to do it. And I would say the number one question you ask is, how can I help? What are you looking for? How relieving is that question? If you got on the phone to talk about health and someone just said, how can I help you? Whoa, you guys feel that? What if someone said that to you when you were getting on the call? That'd be amazing. Then after you know enough, you weave your story and you ask questions, you explain a little bit, you find out a little bit of the details, you use the health assessment. That's when you share the program. You don't share the program until you know enough about what they want. And then once you've explained, make sure you get time to get clarification because there's going to be some details that they need to figure out in their brain. And then And last piece is invite them to get started. A lot of people miss that piece. And I was very scared to do this in the beginning. I was like, see you later. No, just invite them to get started. Assume they want to get started. They got on the phone with you about help. Like most people are looking for a guide. And I will just tell you this. I'm a busy dad now. Half the time when I'm working with a professional field, I'm waiting for them to tell me what to do next. Anyone feel me on that? Like, does anyone know? Like, have you guys ever talked to a realtor or anyone like this or a tax person? You're like, please just tell me what to do next. Tell me what the next step is. They're asking for it. So anyways, last thing on this, like this is the overview of it. So, and then like putting that plan in for coaching and layering coaching and referrals and all those things will be key. That's a game changer from the very beginning. That's how you awaken full health from the very get-go. Lindsay, anything you want to add to this?
No, the invite piece is definitely key. Don't make it awkward. Just say you're ready to get started. Keep it really simple and be really confident when you're sharing the components, because we do have the goods.
Yep. So the other thing I would say is be prepared. When you like showing up, like as someone put in the chat, like showing up like totally present will be a game changer. Whether you're busy or not, the ability to have, like we talked about structure a lot in the beginning, is why do we spend so much time on structure? So that this becomes easy, simple, fun, always, and you can do it from anywhere, whether you're on a beach or here in the hot Northwest. Just grab a health assessment. It looks like this. You're ready to rock and roll and really, really like use it. Like I still really use this on all of like my three-way calls and the calls that I use. So I just grab it out of my health assessment binder here. And these are the sheets you need. You just need the front piece. This is what it looks like. It's got a second piece. We figure out too. And it's got the piece on the inside, and then it's got the way where you're going to track your client's journey on here. So here's really what it looks like. And here's what it looks like to go through it. It's like, this is the way I view it. So this was very helpful for when we went through this last time. Is I just think about the health assessment like this. I'm looking at the intro part. I want to show up. I want to help them feel comfortable, settle the context. I want to intro them to the party and help them feel settled right away. Then I'm going to move into these parts that are so important, and that's awaken. Tell me a little bit about what your goals are. Hey, so what are you looking to accomplish? Hey, this call's all about you. They're going to be like, okay, so tell me about program. Well, this call's actually all about you. Here's keys. Star this one. Well, really, and you probably maybe put this in the chat. Well, we have a few programs, because we do, that might be a fit for you. Tell me a little about your goals so I can make sure to lay out like what the best match would be. Here, I want you guys to make sure you catch this one, because some of you guys that are new, you can't get a no if you're displaying multiple options. You can only be discussing what the right fit is. If you tell them up front there's one option, then they're just basically deciding, is this a fit or not a fit? You see how that changes the whole context? Now you get the opening to go even deeper. Ask them questions. I don't read this document, just so you guys know. I really think about it like in these blocks. And then we talked about weaving our story into this. That's where this comes in right here. Here's a really quick tip. People don't care about your story. Just so you guys know, like they don't. They really don't. All they want to know is this will work. And so I would encourage you guys to weave your story in, but like 30 seconds or most. And I would mostly do it to validate what you kind of pull out is their biggest question. Oh my gosh, like Lindsay, you're so busy and you're really worried about like how natural it is or whatever the case may be. You know what? Yeah, I was really busy. I didn't even have time for a lunch break. I think what I liked most about this is I was ready to do whatever for my health. I lost 30 pounds. I lost so much more. Like it was more than the health transformation for me. My healthy mind got so much better, but it was so easy to do. And for the first time, I was confident in my life. You see how I kind of like layered some things in there? I didn't make it about me. I used my story to validate what they're looking for the most. So, and then lastly over here, ask these questions. These are the optimal health game changers in their journey. You don't have to worry about asking them in order. You might get some of them through this. Like they might say, oh, my sleep's so horrible. And you're like, okay, cool, I got the sleep thing. If you don't get all of them, don't worry. You have an entire health journey to get through it. But I would really try to ask these questions. And don't literally be like, how is your hydration? Or how many hours of sleep? Just have conversation, be interested in them. And find out these things. This is how you layer optimal health when you start asking about more than just how much weight they want to lose on the scale. By the way, another little tips, especially if you're a guy talking to a girl. I've learned this one. Ashley taught me this one. All great things come from my wife. Is I would say, all right, great. Like if you could tell me where you want to be at, what does that look like? So I didn't ask what their weight was. Great. So it could be a size, could be a scale, could be whatever. Okay, great. What would it take to get there? So I can do math. I have a calculator. I can't, or I can count on my hand as long as it's less than 10. I can figure out how much weight that is without having to ask them how much weight. You see how much comfortable I'm making this about, like, you see how comfortable this is getting for them? And so these are all the things that I would ask, but here's like the top 2 questions I would make sure to ask in a health assessment. stress level. I would ask about their job too, because you want to know what their day looks like what they're dealing with. You want to get into their world. But also tell me about your eating habits. And you don't want to, you want to give some context to this question so they don't be like, well, I do this or do this. Get an idea of what their flow is. This will help you be able to match program to them. But also, here's a little trick. For anyone that might have a money concept, you'll be able to tell if they spend more on program by the time they leave Starbucks in the morning and what our program costs per day. Does that make sense? Like you can get out ahead. So these are the things. Is this helpful for you guys? This is a good review. I reviewed this recently and I'm super helpful. Lindsay, anything you want to add because I'm going to kind of wrap up. I want to keep this part simple. Anything that you want to add that's super key on this?
Just keeping it as a conversation. Don't use it as an intake form. And, sometimes when I'm working with newer coaches, I feel you thinking about what the next question should be, and then we're not present with them anymore. So just really listen to what they say. What they respond with is going to lead you to the next question. So we're the guides in this, but let their questions lead you into what you're going to ask next, and stay really present.
I'm so glad you said that. That's why I look at the form like this. I think about it in the structure so I can stay present. I know where I am in the flow of the party, but I'm so focused on the conversation. People can feel that energy if you're present with them. I'm so glad you said that. So these are some of the things that you want to do here, and it'll help you speak to where they're at. So Lindsay, you want to take this part. So health considerations. When I come back to this part, this is kind of after. I'll either do this before or after I explain program, but I just keep it really short. The question I ask is there any health concerns that we need to be worried about? People know if they have diabetes. People know if they have blood pressure. I don't get all clinical and ask, do you have blood pressure or any of these things? I just ask, is there anything we need to worry about? Is there any way that you phrase this that really is helpful for you?
No, I kind of use it as an afterthought as well, and just say, is there, any health concerns that you have? And I keep it super simple.
Perfect. And then these are great too. Are there any medications I think I should know about? Again, I just kind of ask is there anything we should be worried about? I'll give you the key on this so you don't have to ask it like that. I don't ask it like the medication. I just ask it is there any health things that we need to worry about? Anything that you're concerned about? They know if they're diabetic, what questions to ask. They know how to eat food, so they know what questions to ask. I love this one. Is there anyone else that you think we should, or anything else I should know about your health? And then lastly, is there anyone that you would like to get healthy with you? That's so key. You can get referrals from the very get-go. Also, if coaching isn't naturally coming up in the beginning, this first step will be the game changer for you because you're already starting to open up the natural pay it forward of this. But again, I would layer full trilogy. It goes back to if you're living out loud 3, 3, and 3, they'll know that coaching is a possibility. Hopefully, you're talking about coaching and getting healthy all the same time because it's intermixed because we're not just talking about weight loss. We're talking about optimal health. And I love that you layer that so well, Lindsay. So when it does come time to explain, I want to wrap this up, and we'll probably have to do a part 2 of your starting your clients in your first week. But this is a standalone document that really, I still come back to it. I have it laminated in my binder right here. So it really lays out the 4 components. If you're wondering why your clients are only focused on the food, really go back to, did you lay out the 4 components with them? Because that's only 25% of the program. We so focus on the food, and they only know the food. They only know Jenny Craig. They only know Weight Watchers. They only know this. They don't know about the program. So you have to say, okay, so I'm gonna actually let Lindsay explain this real quick, just like what you say. But honestly, I always say, okay, so the thing about our program and what makes it so different, what works so well for me is that there is 4 components. It's so much more than just the meals. And if you only focus on the meals, you'll only get diet results or however you want to say it, use your voice. But there is a coach. There's a habits of health system, which was one of the biggest game changers for me. The community, honestly, that is the difference. People that do it in the community do the best, and then we have our different plans. We got to figure out which plans are right fit for you, but these are our 4 components that make the difference. So for now and long term is the game changer. Lindsay, is there any way that you bring up these 4 components to really help? You have to remember, this is a new idea for people. They were just thinking diet food when they got on the phone with you.
Yeah, there is, and this is pro status. So if you're ready to hear this, I actually will weave in the first 3 components into the health assessment. So as they're talking about, I was so successful at Weight Watchers because I had somebody that was weighing me in every week. And I said, my gosh, well, I'm going to be your coach and I'm going to be your partner and your accountability. It's less presentational than doing it all at the end. So I love weaving it in to the whole health assessment. And then talking about, well, are you ready to hear about the fueling portion of our program? It's our 4th component. And then I add that in.
I'm so glad you said that, Lindsay, because that's why, you just call them the pros that do this. It's like living the 3, 3, and 3. It's going to assist in this health assessment. Just like if you're hearing them, you're going to want to drip what's ahead so it's not a whole new process. Like when you hear something they want, you get to start edifying that you have that piece. Oh, I can't wait to tell you about that piece. So good. Anything else you want to add to that? I think that might be people's best takeaway from tonight, just right there.
No, that's all I got on that one.
Awesome. And then just letting them know how it works. So like you're going to have to make a recommendation at some point. Most of the time, like 95% of the time, it's going to be 5 and 1. But the ability to say that you have multiple plans, because it might be 4 and 2, it might be 3 and 3. Like you don't know what plan it is. So going in with just telling them what it is, again, that's going to put them on a yes or no path instead of a explore what the best fit path is. Just so you guys know, it probably is going to be 5 and 1. But that's when we're going to say, you know what, I'm going to recommend, like we have this plan or this plan, but I'm going to recommend this one for you. It's going to do this, explain what fat burning is, how it's going to work, explain how we have a plan after the plan, because a lot of you guys are wondering, like, hey, my clients are just stopping program. Well, did you ever tell them there was another plan, or did you just tell them there was 5 and 1 the whole time? So like that is a big one right there. And let them know that it's going to be an exploration process through the entire deal. And then like explain the cost of the program. The way I like to leave it in is like if you ask the question, like what I love about it, it's like $13 a day. You're going to save money on this plan. Like you can weave it in however you want, but again, like back to what Lindsay was saying, hopefully you've kind of layered a little bit in the process before that case came up. So Lindsay, anything you want to add to this?
I always say it's actually a really cost neutral plan. And cost neutral, like right away, it drops people's guards of like, this is going to be so expensive.
Yes.
So drop that down right away.
And another one, conversation piece, if it's coming up in the conversation, again, it's kind of hard to tell you guys how to have a conversation, but like if they're worried up front that it's a cost deal, let them know up front, be like, oh my gosh, like meet them where they're at. I love the found. I felt this way. What I found was this, like, or I skipped a step. But anyways, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I found this, felt. Yep, I did it right that time. Perfect. So people love to be where they're at. You can let them know the same thing. Like my story was, I thought this program was expensive. Turns out that I saved about $200 a month for us being on plan. Like let them know that stuff up front. Grease your wheels ahead of time on this stuff. So great stuff. This is all great things here. And then lastly, you can come back to this section. After I explained program, I was talking about how you can do this 2 times. Come back to this again. Because if you're wondering if you lost anything, you'd be like, again, because just want to double check, is there anything else that you need on here before you have a question? That might bring up other questions. Plus, they'll have some last clarifying questions. Everyone always is going to have some last detailed clarifying question. Could be cost, could be price, could be can they exercise. They're always going to have a last few pieces they need to figure out. And if you answer those, then it's crystal clear. And then the last piece is inviting them to get started. So that would be the number one piece there, is making sure you invite. Lindsay, we're going to wrap up early on this without doing your part. We'll do that part next week because I really want them to have that time of knowing how to set up those texts. So as we wrap up here, what's the last piece you really focus on to make sure, like, how do you do your invite to make it really simple and easy? Because I know I was super scared. For all the new coaches out here that I know are like, it's trying to get that confidence. What is it that you say when you get to that part of the call?
So after I ask them if they have any questions about anything, no, I think you answered everything. I boldly say, so are you ready to get started? Nothing fancy. That's literally it. That's it. I don't try to get all awkward and weird. I literally just invite them to join and get started.
I love it. So that's pretty much it right here. When they're ready to move forward on their health, these are the pieces. If you want a guide in the invite, it's right here. But honestly, just like Lindsay said, like, are you ready to get started? Sometimes I'll mix in there too, like people might think it's a big process on how to get started. I'll say, you know what, it just takes a few minutes. All I need to know is where card do you want it on and where do you want your program shipped to? Oh, that's how simple it is. Most people think it's a whole process. So again, just being aware of where people are at. So on the wrap up right here, all I need to get you set up is XYZ. Where would you like your program shipped to? What card do they want it on? And then their email and phone number. Because you need their email because that's going to be their login information. And you'll want to probably like, I'll set up your account for you. Welcome one with a capital W, exclamation point will be your password. That's what we always use when starting a client. And then the last thing before I go is like, here's my favorite last thing. And this is the last thing I'll leave you with before we wrap up here tonight. Is I like to instill that last piece of confidence in them. Really get relational before you let them off the phone. Don't just do the transaction and get done. hey, like I'm really excited for it. And I can't tell you how this is going to go because every conversation is a little bit different, but hey, you're going to do great at this. If they have fears, make sure to reinstill that fear. Or reinstill that fear is going to be okay. It's like, you're going to do really great at this. Start layering the referrals. Like, hey, as people start noticing, like I love referrals. I do a referral fee or a referral thank you. Or when I talk about coaching, I also can't talk about, I can't like get to the details of this either. I would really encourage you that a lot of the time, if you're living boldly enough, you're talking about exploring coaching with them just as much as you're talking about health. Like you might be like, okay, we'll come back to the coaching thing. Let's start with your health first, and then we'll kind of intermingle the two. But again, that's where all the details come in on this. But really hit that referral thing before you leave, and that also instills in them like, wow, I really am going to do good. Because I'll leave you with this last and final tip. If you want to know how to do a really good health assessment, besides all the tips we give them, besides the relationship, you're helping someone decide to make a decision. And that's how you create integrated clients and coaches. You know, not just get an order. You want to get that visceral feel of like, are they actually, like, they could be scared, but are they really making a commitment to their health based on what we've talked about? Do I know enough about their why to know that this program is going to be a fit? It's not perfect every single time. Some of the stuff like gets shored up throughout the first month. We'll show you that next week. But that's what you really are looking for. Is this person really ready to make a commitment to their health? And even if they're not fully ready, it can happen throughout the process. So, Lindsay, as we wrap up, anything that you want to add in here?
No, I'm excited to next week go over some of the systems and the things that we have in place in order to integrate clients really, really well after they said yes. So I'm excited for that.
So for everyone, that last thing that we have is like, here's the I feel like a preacher wrapping up here today, is the variety pack. Most people, like, get this, most people want to do what most people do. Most people get started with the variety pack. Again, for duplication, like this is what makes it easy. Again, we also don't want to make it about the food. We want to make it about the health. If they really are adamant about changing things, you can update, you can change 5 things. If they know about the food, you can still start them with a variety pack and say, hey, what 5 things you really want to try? They don't know what they like. Like, I hated the oatmeal. Dawn likes the oatmeal. Actually, I don't know if she did or not. I just know the things that I like, Ashley hates, and the things that Ashley likes, I pretty much hate. You never know. And again, you don't want to make it about the food. You want to make the decision about the decision to get healthy. You can figure out all those details. And again, most people do what most people do. Plus, you want to obviously do with the habits of health system. We'll get into how to start intermingling that in their journey. But these are the things that make the difference. And also, if you start becoming an order taker, you're starting to, 1, make it about the food even more. But 2, they're going to be like, I can't do this. I can't do this coaching thing. So, you know, you are going to get some people that might be adamant. It's okay if that's the case. Don't feel like a failure if someone is adamant about ordering the food. But I'm just going to tell you, like, the more you get really good at just being like, hey, yeah, most people order a variety pack. Oh, well, you know, can I look at it? Yeah, go for it. I mean, if you really want to, you know, we can customize up to 5 things if you figure out what you want. But I really recommend it because no one really knows what they like, and you'll figure out your routine. This whole first month is about figuring out your flow. By the time they have a great exchange policy. And honestly, here's my favorite. I like to joke around with them if I'm close enough with them. Is honestly, I wouldn't worry about the food. We're going to worry about getting healthy. It was worrying about what food tastes like that got me in trouble in the first place. Sorry, that's just the one I throw out every now and again. So again, this is some of the details. I want to really come back and encourage you because I want to wrap up for times we already went long here. This is already, all the stuff I went over tonight is already still too health focused. You'll get more in, like, I covered the details of what you'll posture. This conversation will really be more about their health, their life, their matches for coaching, you layering the matches of what the fit is for their life. What do they need more of? What is the optimal health that they need in all areas of their life? The program is just the entry point, and that's why we're figuring out which one is the fit so they can start their optimal health journey. So next week, we'll show you how to move this in to integration and also what creates coaching really early on with the people that are ready while they're having their results. So Kelly, will you wrap us up here? Anything you want to add? Actually, Lindsay, anything you want to add here as we wrap up?
Nope, golden.
All right, Kelly, take us home.
Okay, I will be happy to do that. What a great training. Thank you guys so very much. And really, we're just going to look at what are the action steps with all this great information now, because it's all about getting into action, wrapping up our month. We had some great things about mid-month, how to do a great health assessment review and really dive into their why and make it about them. So here it is, recap and action steps, and this is what we're going to do the rest of this week and into next week when we see you. Again, set your alarm, stay consistent. We know that 3, 3, and 3 is the key and backbone to bringing more people into your world and getting into other people's world. Do the mid-month health check. Check your pulse, like Dawn, Nurse Dawn, check your pulse. Don't forget follow-up Fridays. If you don't have a day for your client support day, get one. I shouldn't be that direct, but I'm going to say get one. And then use Friday for a follow-up when you don't quite get to some people who are busy, but use Friday for follow-up for the clients that you want to make sure you're staying connected with and the people who you're layering on. Remember, we have lots of tools you can share with them on how to layer, but use Fridays for that because it kicks off the weekend, gets them thinking healthy, and you're really coaching them already, even if they're not with you yet. So that's the key that I love about Follow-Up Friday. Practice your health assessments by doing them. That's how we do it. Practice the health assessments by just doing a whole bunch more, and bring your team in, bring your sponsor in, let them hear you do it. Check yourself. We still do that sometimes. Like, am I missing something because of doing too many for a long time? Don't want to miss those steps. And then also, challenge yourself to do some integration calls yet this week. Bring some people to your team, your business coach that you're excited about, because we really need more people. So sponsoring is a key to building your business, building this mission, and bring those people to your business support team so they can help you assess if they're going to be great team members, and bring them along with you and be a part of their support. Lead with your health and remember your dreams. That's what it's about, creating the dreams, creating the dream life that we all want, because we now have this amazing vehicle to do that and do it for others. So, with that, thank you, Lindsay and Brad and Dawn, for such a great training. I always take so much more away than I came with. And I'm just really excited for everybody to have the rest of the great week. We'll see you Saturday. Don't forget Saturday morning. That's when we get the overarching training that fits above and beyond all these tools that we put into our everyday life. And we're just going to go get it. Let's go help some people get healthy. That's what I got. Everybody have a great week. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Dom.
Amazing.
That was awesome. Thanks, Kelly, Lindsay, Brad.
Abby,
you guys Saturday morning.
It was a good night to be with you all.
Great questions in the chat, too. All right, guys, we'll see you Saturday morning. I just want to say, I know there's 2 trainings a week. Congratulations on continuing to want to get really good at what you're doing. Anything worth having and worth doing and excelling is, takes effort and practicing your skills. Really appreciate everyone here just continuing to believe in themselves and hone their skills. Keep it up. Success leaves clues. Have a great Thursday, everyone.
See ya.